Happy Saturday night. Hey rockers, back again for some more rock and roll tales. Today involving Richie Ramone. Yeah man, cool shirt, eh? Thank you Richie for this badass shirt. Gonna go back and talk about Richie before I get into my tale of opening up for Richie Ramone with a band I was in for a one-time only gig called the Punk Rollers when Richie Ramone played in Ashland, Oregon with Go Betty Go, and of course the band I had put together, the Punk Rollers. My history with Richie in a nutshell goes back to about the year 2011 when I was actually friends for a minute with his ex, Tiffany Ramone, and she was a listener in LA, California area, listening to the Church of Rock when we were broadcasting on KZZE out of Medford, Oregon, before I was at the station I'm at now. And Tiffany would listen to the Church of Rock and would send little messages saying she dug the show. We had and still do have quite a cool, diverse listening audience from all over. Grateful here, yes. Well, Tiffany one day said, you know, I'm trying to find a particular MP3 by the Ramones and we can't find it and Richie can't find it. If you guys could find it, let us know. Well, my co-host of the radio show at the time, St. Christopher, he found it in like 5 minutes. He was kind of a computer wizard kind of dude. Well, he found the MP3 and Tiffany was cool and very happy about that. And she said, Richie said, thanks. Then she said, hey, while you guys are on a roll, there's another Ramones MP3 I can't find if you can find that. And he found that like that. Then she said, this is all via like email or messenger kind of thing. She said, I owe you a favor. If you ever need anything from me or Richie, just let us know. Well, at the time we were getting ready to go record my 30th anniversary album in Los Angeles called the Bloody Mess Rock Circus Mountain Rock album. We were going to record at the great Kitten Robot Studio with Paul Rossler, which we did. And the great Richie Ramone, the favor that I asked of his ex, Tiffany, was, hey, could you ask Richie if he'll come into the studio and do some backing vocals and some vocal work on the record that we're doing? And she got back pretty quickly and said, you know what? He said, yeah. I'm like, yeah. He probably thought, hey, you did my chick a favor. I'm going to do a favor for you, bro. Well, I ended up friending Richie on Facebook and stuff. And flash forward, he ended up showing up and keeping his word. He did come and sing, I think, 4 or 5 songs out of the 10-song Bloody Mess Rock Circus album, I believe. And he contributed a lot of vocals. Thank you, Richie, for doing that. And then fast forward to the year 2015, and I got to open for Richie Ramone in Medford, Oregon, with the band also called 100 Watt Mind, legends here in Southern Oregon. And I was in a band called Bloody and the Backstabbers. That's another story. But now we're going to the story I'm telling you tonight. If I have my notes in hand, because, got to have that crutch. Well, Richie Ramone called and said, hey, man, going to be touring, coming up through Oregon, going up to California, Portland, etc. Is there any chance of a gig in Southern Oregon? I said, you know what, man? It would be easy to set up in Medford, which we did before and had a great crowd. But I thought, why not do it in Ashland, Oregon, where I reside? Because, man, there's no rock and roll here, really. I mean, they do have the occasional bands down at the pub downtown, which is great, great pub. I don't want to say the wrong name, darn it. I want to give them a shout out, though. I think it's like Pier 31, darn it. But either way, I mean well, and they do have gothic, punk, and metal bands. Richie Ramone came and played the BlackSheep Pub, though, here in Ashland. And the date was, September 3rd, 2022. We set it up for the BlackSheep Pub. It's an English restaurant, which is upstairs in a historic building in downtown Ashland, Oregon. We had 3 bands on the bill. My band, the Punk Rollers, consisting of some friends that I asked to be from other bands, a part of this project. And we kind of put together a cool little set consisting of 1 song from each of my 9 albums, because it was before my Dark Days Unfazed record came out. So yeah, I got a shout out to those guys, of course. That would be David Vallee on the guitar, Riley Innis on the bass, and Logan Weiss on the drums. We played for a big crowd. It was over 200 people that we sold tickets to that event for Richie Ramone. And we promoted for quite a while. It's a sleepy little mountain town, not used to kind of upbeat rock and roll like Richie provides. So me and the Punk Rollers put together this cool set, 9 songs total. Go Betty Go. the band that's primarily a female band, basically did a great job that night. I was really busy running around talking to like the tons of people that I knew that came from Medford and different parts of Southern Oregon, like Grants Pass, Talent, Phoenix. It was a great turnout, man. The crowd was super riled up for this show. Like I say, you don't get much rock and roll in Ashland, and that's not to say anything bad about Ashland. But when Richie got to town, we were all excited. They were staying in town. We knew he was probably going to be tired. When you're on the road like Richie Ramone and kind of a road warrior, you tend to be burned out a lot and never catching up on rest. But when he got to the BlackSheep Pub, again, an English restaurant with an old English telephone booth inside there and nothing but English food on the menu. By the way, I think they just closed their doors very recently, and that place is for sale here in Ashland. That night we went on, my band, for those of you that are a fan of me, I'll make this quick. I'll tell you, the guys and I did Divine Dirt. We did from the Divine Dirt from the Underworld album. We did Dive Bar Superstar, that's on the Bloody and the Transfusions album. We did, and that was Sister Tracy doing backing vocals, of course, on that song. And Sister Tracy did backing vocals on a lot of the songs at this show, actually. So shout out to her for being part of the band. And she used to have her own band called Avluv, A-V-L-U-V. Spell that backwards. That was a great band, Tracy. You rocked. After Dive Bar Superstar, we did Real Cool Chick. I do believe that was the first time I'd ever performed that song live ever. That was on a album of mine called Anti-Rockstar with the Transfusions and songs that never made the Transfusions album. Also, I Can't Remember was next from the Bloody in the Veins album, heavy tune. Then we did Tramp Stamp Blues, which is a song that Bloody and the Hollow Bodies recorded, and also that was on the live album that the Hollow Bodies did with myself called Ready, Willing, Unstable, live in Peoria, Illinois, 2010. Then we did Kali Yuga, that's also on two of my albums, the Bloody Mess Rock Circus album and the Divine Dirt album. So good I had to do it twice. It was a song written back then about today and tomorrow. Yuga, Kali Yuga, that's what we're living in, man. The No Fun by Iggy and the Stooges, which was actually on my Transcend album and was also, that's the only place it was released. I believe later it was released on my Screaming the Blues EP about a year ago on Ponk Media. If you go online, you can type in Bloody Mess, No Fun, but that's me and the Veins doing No Fun and the Iggy Pop cover. After we did No Fun, we did Skeletons from the Divine Dirt album. Great music video out there that the late, great Nick Zed produced called Divine Dirt Skeletons. You got to check it out. Rest in peace, Nick Zed. We closed out the show that night opening for Richie Ramone doing the classic song by Bloody Mess and the Scabs. Originally, Empty is the song I'm talking about. We had a killer crowd. It was enthusiastic as hell. People were totally having a great time. The video's out on my other channel, The Church of Rock, all one word. Please subscribe there. Please take a moment to subscribe here if you would. I'm going to let you know exactly what happened during the Richie Ramone show in about 10 seconds here. It was a great show that night. I got to say thanks a lot to everyone that did come out to that show. And I got a shout out to David Vallee in the band Neon Chrome today. And so is Riley Innis. He's the guitarist and bassist, respectfully, in Neon Chrome. And Logan Weiss is also the drummer of Neon Chrome. Logan was also in Witch Cult and PX10, I believe the band was. God, my memory is so crappy. PX15, forgive me. PX15, badass band fronted by Gabe Hoover from the Medford Pirate Punks. And, of course, look out for Neon Chrome playing all over Southern Oregon and probably other parts. Richie Ramone and his band that night consisted of himself on drums and vocals, Claire Mistake, awesome legendary bass player from the UK. She's in that Ramones tribute band, and they're no joke. I've heard that band, and I'm going to remember the name of it in a minute. Claire Mistake, what a legend. Richie SIMMONS, I believe from Australia, was on guitar. These guys are no joke. This is a great band. Claire Mistake was up there with this cool big black boots on and these cool leggings and had a Richie Ramone shirt on. And, of course, you had Chris MOYE, the late Chris MOYE on drums. Rest in peace. Whenever Richie would come up and sing with the band, Chris MOYE would play drums and Richie would get up there and sing and get the crowd singing for all the sing-alongs. What a great showman Richie Ramone truly is, man. You know, he puts on a hell of a show. He always has a killer band, man. Now, I've opened up for him twice, and both times, I gotta say, hands down, great rock and roll, great punk rock. It was a very much a pleasure to open up for Richie Ramone. I'm trying to slow the hell down because I'm a little hyper when I talk about stuff that I enjoy. These are memories, my friends, going into my video book in real time. No editing, just letting it flow, my friends. Stream of consciousness stuff here. Richie SIMMONS had his long black hair, and he was rocking, man, with his black and white striped shirt. I got some great video footage. Again, it's on my other YouTube channel, The Church of Rock, all the one word. Do you want to know what they played that night? I'll tell you, but you got to know Richie Ramone was in the Ramones from 83 to 87, and he was on 3 of their most killer albums. Too Tough to Die, Animal Boy, and Halfway to Sanity. Those are albums that I cherish in my collection, to be honest. There's so many classics like Somebody Put Something in My Drink. I got to tell you, man, a lot of people came to this show, including my brother Bill Maxwell, who I had been looking for all my life. Yep, when I was 18, my mom told me there was a son before me. Long story short, he couldn't be found. The father had taken him, blah, blah, blah. I was able to find him through one of my daughters, Jessica. Shout out to Jessica in Florida. Thank you so much for hooking me up with Bill Maxwell, my long-lost half-brother, who I got to know because he flew his entire family in to this show from California, not only on an airplane, but first class. And man, they partied like rock stars. They had a cool Airbnb here in Ashland. We got to hang out. That was the second time we got to hang out, Bill and I. And then sadly, my brother Bill passed away. And it was completely a blessing that I ever got to know him in the first place. And boy, is he missed, because boy, I was just getting to know the guy. And my brother was like a rocker, a total rocker. He had gone to see the Scorpions recently. I'm getting off track. Richie Ramone went on stage that night with his band after Go Betty Go, right? After we played, Go Betty Go played. They were fast, furious, cool rock and roll, punkish, just really high energy music that I loved. Unfortunately, I didn't get any video footage. I didn't have a chance to stand there and just like watch the band like I wanted. I was like talking to all the people I knew there, and it was cool. But Go Betty Go delivered. Nothing but good stuff to say about them. Richie Ramone came out doing Durango 95. I actually have a signed set list on my wall from this show. I'll have to maybe pan in when I get done here. Lobotomy by the Ramones. The crowd was singing along, you guys. Richie Ramone went over real well here in Southern Oregon. Shout out to my nephew Chris, who was there, and J-Mone and the Hoyts, and Chris and Noel Slocum, and Steve and Shannon Westkirchen, and of course, Oddly Toddly was there. J-Mone. There were so many people there that I know. Raven was there. It was packed. Hundreds of people there. It's sitting in tables, sitting in the back, sitting in the sides, people standing up, people sitting at the bar. Every seat was sold the night Richie Ramone played Ashland. Of course, after he went into those great tunes, he did Somebody Put Something in My Drink, a very highlight of the evening. I do got to say, the PA system was bad that night. I'm not going to blame it on the PA guy. I'm not going to blame it on the club, who's no longer even open. I'm just going to say that we had problems that night with the sound, and I know Richie was frustrated during a lot of the show. It's evident during some of the video and my memories, but you know what? To his credit, he never complained about it after the show. He never held it against me or the club. He just did a great gig. He got paid, and they rocked on to the next town. Shout out Richie Ramone for being a true rocker, man, and a champ. He was in the Shoes way before the Ramones and stuff. He's got such a history in rock and roll. Also, Smash You was next. I Know Better Now. Great stuff, man. He did a lot of Ramones covers and a lot of stuff off his solo records, including the great album Live to Tell, which is right there and autographed on the front cover by Richie to me. I also have a copy that's the colored vinyl. I think it's a clear vinyl, isn't it clear? Yeah, and Richie gave that to me as a gift and told me to hold on to it until my retirement as a joke. But no, it's definitely a collectible, and I'm super happy to have it. Also, Richie's book right above my thumb there. It's called I Know Better Now. That's awesome. I recommend that book if you haven't read Richie's autobiography, man. He did Pretty Poison. Yep. Pretty Poison. Who Stole My Wig? Win the Night, of course. Chasing the Night was a highlight of the show. Ramones Classic, which I hate to talk about me, but I'm saying I covered that on my new album, Dark Days Unfazed. But you need to check out Richie Ramone, Live to Tell. Honestly, that album is really a classic, man. It might be a little underrated because there's so much stuff that gets put out. But if you hear Live to Tell, you're going to be glad that I told you to get it. Yeah, for sure. Faux show. He did Who Stole My Wig When the Night. Judy is a Punk, Rockaway Beach. Everyone was singing along. I was really happy at the turnout for Richie's show. I think that's probably why he was able to forgive the sound for being so kind of, well, atrocious that night. Because the crowd made up for it by being real. Then he did Animal Boy, and of course he did Warthog, which is a great one, man. Not Afraid. And then the highlight of the night for me personally was when Richie Ramone and company, Richie up front, Mr. Moyes on the drums, Clear Mistake on the bass, and of course Richie on the guitar. I'm not Richie Ramone, of course, but the great Richie SIMMONS, who, by the way, man, that guy's a rocker. He's up there playing like the Johnny Ramone style, but he adds so much more to it. He's real cool looking. He's got the whole hair thing. He's freaking got all the moves down. He's a total and utter rocker. I have to give it up. I'm a big fanboy of Richie SIMMONS. Great rocker, dude, for sure. That whole band just blew me away. But when Richie comes up front and sings with that microphone stand, he's very tall. He's got his black t-shirt on, his black jeans. He's up there sweating. He's putting everything into it, man. And, you know, a lot of people talk a lot of smack, but there's also a lot of Richie Ramone fans out there that love him dearly, like I do. He called me up on stage, man, to sing Sheena Is a Punk Rocker with him. And that is also on video, I'm proud to say, on the Church of Rock channel. You can check it out. Richie Ramone at Bloody Mess singing Sheena Is a Punk Rocker. Yeah, of course I'm proud of it. It was live. It was raw. It was unexpected. But, man, that's a proud moment of my life, man. Richie Ramone, thanks again, man. Richie's saying, hey, man, Bloody, quit kissing my ass so much at this point. Sorry, I'm really not, man. I'm just giving honor where it's due, my brother. Of course, he did Havana Affair. I don't remember. There's some of the songs I got out of order, but I do have a copy of the set list, but I could tell that they were kind of picking and choosing at Richie's discretion of which songs they were going to replace with what songs they weren't going to do. There's a lot of songs on that set list they did not do. But I got to say, man, that night he hung out and he talked with all his fans after the show. He totally accommodated my band by taking pictures and signing stuff for everybody. I had a stack of Ramones records and CD covers myself. And I wanted to show you guys something too, man. I've got a DVD here you might not know of, but this is called Head Cheese. Head Cheese, the movie. This is another thing that Richie gave me as a gift one time. And it's really cool, man. But if you check it out, it's got this great logo, and it comes with this cool stuff inside. And this was given to me by Richie because he's in this movie called Head Cheese, a total B movie, which he was proud of doing, and he should be. It's art, man. So if you get a chance to check out this bad boy on DVD, Head Cheese by Richie, or get his book, or grab his record, or grab something. But either way, man, I'm glad you guys came to check out this story of opening for Richie Ramone. It was a massive adrenaline high, I can tell you that. Got some great photos with the man himself that night. And he treated me with respect like he always does because he's a true gentleman. But he's a real rocker, man. He wears his leather jacket. He lives the life. He's a road warrior. And he is also somebody I ran into recently when I did my new album, Dark Days Unfazed. He came by the studio and he hung out. It was really cool. He wasn't feeling real well that time. I did invite him to do some backing vocals, but he declined. But you know what? He said some nice stuff to me that day, including, yeah, your song Rock and Roll Therapy reminds me of Mott the Hoople without the horns. And I thought, that's cool, man, because he sat there as we were doing Rock and Roll Therapy. My new album is available on CD and vinyl and on Punk Media, of course, digitally. Shout out to Ragged Records and Fanatic Records. If you need my record or want it, just hit me up in the email below in the description area. Thanks again for watching this video. I tried to keep it under 20 minutes, and I'm at 19:34 right now. I can see by this little clock above my head, which I don't think you can see. Sure you can. All right, man. Keep it real, you guys. Hey ho, let's go. Long live Richie Ramone. And be back as soon as I can, my friends. Cheers. Please subscribe. Please.